Yeah, dude, have you been getting like heaps of ads on your like social media?
Yeah.
People that you
Um,
don't even follow? Like,
yeah, they're really coming across now. I was actually watching one the other day and it was pretty cool, but something felt off about it. So I had to go check out the profile. It was run by AI.
what?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Metaverse podcast. Today, we are diving into the wonderful world of AI influencers and what they mean for the future. But I am here with my co-host, Archetype. How you doing, dude?
I'm good, dude. This is a topic I pretty much know nothing about, so I'm going to be the novice asking probably more you the questions, taking the place of our listeners, and yeah, I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah, dude. It's an emerging space, fast growing. It's a challenge to keep on top of everything, but I'll do my best. Let's do it.
Cool. So I guess we should start with what the heck is an AI influencer? Is it
Yeah.
a
So
buzzword? Is it a real thing?
right. And that's really the thing. Let's kind of talk about it because in previous episodes we've touched on these avatar influencers, right? There's whole media houses in Japan and other countries that have like one guy or a small team that build out, these profiles for different influencers of different hobbies and so on. We're starting to see that bleed, or rather AI bleed into that realm. So that's kind of like where we could start here today. I think it is a buzzword for now, but I really see it either keeping that word or taking something like VTuber along with it, AI tuber or something, some way
Yeah.
to evolve what they actually are.
Yeah. So we covered off on VTubers in a previous episode, and literally that was someone who was sort of puppeteering, I guess you'd say, maybe there's a better word for it, but controlling a character on screen, either using like manual input or like a webcam that tracked their face movement and then
Hmm.
displayed a different character on the screen. Is it Miko that is
Yeah,
one of
Code
these?
Miko.
Code
Yeah.
Miko, that's it. But we're probably talking about something a little bit different.
Yeah.
How would you see the difference with someone who's just a straight up VTuber and then someone who's using like this AI tech? Where could they initially take that?
Right. So I call like AI influencers or creators composers because I really think it paints a beautiful picture of where exactly they stand with the technology, which is directly in the center, influencing the outputs of text or video or, images in general, music even. So I think that the human still has a role, and we can get into when they don't later. Um, but I think the human still much very has a role of being the visionary and then allowing AI to execute on that. So where it differs from VTubers is VTubers take a lot of time and technology and programming to create the final, I guess, content piece. But AI does not take a lot of time. It's, once you know prompting, you can spit out, books and characters and whole series in a matter of days or weeks. So it's a very different story. It's different technology. It looks different. Right now, we're getting more like 2D characters, whereas VTubers are still rule the 3D space for
Mm.
now. But yeah, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, so to your point, like a VTuber would have to really sit down and either be speaking out the content, controlling their character, and thinking about everything that's really said and displayed. But with that advancement of AI, you could literally give it a topic and then have that AI influencer discuss something on screen about it, right? Like
Yeah.
minimal input
Yeah.
from the conductor side of things.
Yeah, exactly. Minimal input, and we're only getting started. for instance, I could, let's say, create a not a VTuber, a AI character that's a
Yeah.
news anchor, and they speak specifically on Web3 gaming news. Now, I could feed it the top sources of news. So whenever they post, the AI takes it, rewrites it, creates a piece of content, and publishes it. We're almost to that level. We're not quite there yet, but it's only probably a matter of months until we're actually there. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what we're talking about is there's more work on the front end. Again, there's a difference if we're creating like characters that become IP in larger stories, or if we're creating, characters that live as short form, fast pieces of content, such as a news anchor.
Yeah, that's probably where it's going to start, right? Little shorts, little
Mm-hmm.
TikTok videos, easy stuff that could be just daily content, and that's what we're consuming at the moment, right? So once they sort of nail that, then they can go into longer form, which might be a little bit more difficult. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, you could have, I don't know too much about coding, but you could have a script that scrapes the top, 5 news articles on gaming and metaverse for that day, and then have your AI read that, as you mentioned, and
Right.
create videos. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. I mean, I think it starts on like platforms such as Twitter, where maybe that's doable now,
Hmm.
without the video aspect. Just it reads and it publishes,
Yeah.
reads, rewrites, and yeah, publishes content. I guess the other thing we should briefly mention, we're going to stay away from it in this podcast because we have touched on it in previous episodes, but there are also influencers or creators that use AI tech, but not as characters, but to promote either some kind of environment. For example, there's a TikToker I found and watched, and he creates daily content with one premise. And the premise is creating AI people until someone who looks like one of them replies in the comments. And so he does 3 images every day and puts them into the one video. And it works really well. So that's kind of one side of the influencer coin. But we're going to like mainly focus on what it means when they take over as,
Mm,
influencers and characters themselves.
yeah. Okay. Well, I got another question. Apart from, the individual person creating these, who else is going to be looking into this? Because I feel like this could be a pretty big industry, pretty lucrative.
So I heard this today, actually. Digital marketing agencies are dead. And in a way, it's kind of true. This AI tech really provides a way for businesses. I know we were talking about creators, but thinking beyond, businesses really could take this and run with it. And I think they will need to. Otherwise, we'll see things like Blockbuster to Netflix type stuff happening where
Yeah.
these bigger companies may be too scared to put their trust in something like AI, and a smaller people that have a similar brand just outspeed them. So yeah, that's something to be thinking about, especially if you own a business, ways you could use AI to just speed up either your workload or to market to potential customers.
I just had a thought. Like, you've got someone who is as iconic as, say, like a Steve Jobs for
Mm-hmm.
Apple. Would you see brands like having this mascot or this front-facing person that is like the image of the brand, like AI?
Yeah, I do. I think it does blend a little bit with some metaverse technology, but I really do see that. For instance, let's say the Geico gecko. Let's say they program an AI to both do commercials and write commercials, but also like respond on social media as that character, and they have like a whole brand guideline prompt that they program into the AI. Like I
Yeah.
do see companies using these because it evolves beyond that. I am going to still save some of this for later because I see it going to somewhere crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, once like the AI becomes the influencer, we get into a weird world. So it'll be fun to jump into that. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, man. I'm keen to jump in. So unless you've got something else, let's get wild and wacky.
All right. This is some crazy theory craft stuff. Okay, so I was thinking about shows and how AI can influence the process. But then I was like, at some point, AI is going to get so good that they will get to actually know who's watching. And this is something that we're already hinted at. So, long story short, I don't have to, I guess, build up this premise of it. You guys will get where I'm going. I would be able to go to an AI, let's say influencer or creator, similar to like a Netflix platform, and be like, I am feeling melancholy. Create me a series based on a sci-fi planet involving a main character who has two best friends and a dog named Lilo, and it generates the series for me, and I start watching right then and there.
Dang.
Um, that's
Dang.
probably a decade away, maybe less. But like, I know there's huge advancements in videos, but that's true AI influence. That's the creator. That's the influencer, and it gets scary.
All right, my mind's starting to get triggered here. What if, okay, what if what you create, like you're talking about, would be unique?
Mm-hmm.
But then what if it was so good that you wanted to share it with people?
What if?
And then there was some sort of system or platform or reward system that if you shared that out and people watched it, you would get a part share in the revenue for that.
Hmm.
Maybe someone like Netflix, they get the bulk of it, but
Yeah.
basically it's a tool then at that point.
Yep. I think that's what will happen. I don't want to get too doom and gloom, but there's multiple ways the world could go in the next, section of life. One of them mentions a sort of universal basic income where AI and robots do a majority of the work. And TikTok is our real hint that to occupy our time, we'll be creating for each other. So I think that's what you said really plays a role is while AI is creating this, it was our prompt. So we do get a little bit of kickback. And that's how people can build wealth through creation on top of like a basic level. That's a weird idea, but
Yeah.
throwing it out there.
And
Mm-hmm.
because we're not working, all we'll do is just sit and watch and consume.
Yep. And then we're like the dudes in Wally.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. I mean, maybe that's how the Matrix started. People just became these like slugs, and then we
Right.
needed like sustenance to just plug in and
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
mind's gone, just exploded with ideas of what this could be, where it could take it, but
Let them out. Let's go.
all right, so that's cool if you're creating something new, but you were saying like a personal experience. Like
Hmm.
imagine you already have a favorite TV show, something that
Hmm.
you you identify with the characters, you have your favorites, and perhaps when you go to click play, it knows and recognizes who you are, and it knows some basic details about you, either your name or like your social media handle or something like that that you identify with. And then the show starts up and the character is involving you and mentioning you by name,
Hmm.
which would be pretty cool. And then we were talking about in a previous episode where rather than a 2D screen, if we're watching these things in like a virtual space in the
Yeah.
metaverse, you could be a third person or even the main character in that scene. And then that
Hmm.
AI, those characters would be turning to you and, you know, referring to you by name. That would be pretty cool.
It'd be amazing. And what would you say if I told you that we're almost there? There is a programmer, again on TikTok, who has been taking Chat GPT and
Mm.
programming it into NPCs in video games. And so
Oh.
he speaks to the NPCs. The one I saw today actually involved a tavern. And if I can find this guy, we'll put the name down in the description and show notes. But he speaks himself to a bartender NPC who is ChatGPT, and he has told the AI the different characters in the bar who's there. So he's actually going, "Hey, have you heard of any adventurers who are looking for this?" And the
Mm.
bartender was like, let me think. I have heard whispers of, this warrior that's sitting right over there by the campfire, and it's just like blows your mind. But it's going into video games, it's going into experiences like you're saying, like these are our these are our friends,
Yeah.
our enemies, our sidekicks, our lovers, dare I say. The future's bright.
Spicy. Well, once brands have like these characters that people identify with or influenced by, they
Hmm.
could step out of that, say, TV role, and they could be spokesperson for either that brand in particular, or they could start promoting other products and partnering with different brands and then bringing you a personal advertisement using AI. Like
Yeah.
it's the same idea I see as, say, a famous actor doing a promotional for an advertisement. Obviously, companies will pay big bucks to have, say, George Clooney drinking an espresso and doing an advert. I could see brands creating these IPs and these characters and then essentially like renting them out to promote different brands and products.
No, definitely. It's weird. Like AI plays such a role in the metaverse, and it's like really. I shouldn't say rarely, but like when you speak of the metaverse, you're speaking of AR, VR usually. But like AI plays such a big role in creating the metaverse experience, reading that it's archetype right here, and now I am going to change my shape according to his preferences and his buying history to make him want
Mm.
to buy my product. So it's like there'll be shape shifting ads. Going back to the TV show, I don't. The evolution of choose your own adventure is a curated adventure for you from AI. So
Yeah.
like we may all experience the ending of a TV show differently, and we maybe get to like mint that moment or share that moment on social media with our friends. Like for instance, just Breaking Bad, just randomly, we could have hundreds of thousands of different endings according to who's
Yeah.
watching it. Yeah, insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're not reliant at that point on the actor itself. And
Mm.
I think you might have mentioned this on a previous episode, but if you have a human actor or a human spokesperson, there's so many variables that you could put your time and money and effort into, and then that doesn't pan out for the company. Uh,
Yeah.
their health issues, they could die, they get old, they're no longer attractive, they pull out, they don't want to do the commercials anymore or the TV show. And
Mm.
I think you mentioned it. Once you have this AI equivalent, they'll do anything. They'll sell anything. They have no qualms about what they're going to advertise or what they're going to do. And then they could be multi-skilled. So they could be not just actors, but they could be musicians. They could be the perfect, person to read off for a script or an advert. They could speak different languages. Like the possibilities are just endless.
You could program your own Atlas theory so you don't have to work off my schedule too, or I don't have to work off your schedule to record podcasts. It'd be great. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
Don't get too
dude,
many
I,
ideas. I
I
enjoyed
don't
writing
need
this
you
one.
anymore. All right, let's.
No, I guess let's wrap this with a question then
Mm.
that I, I think we need to ask ourselves is, would it be right and would we want it for ourselves? You mentioned like these actors, right? Archetype. Would you ever want to program an archetype AI to live on to future generations, and or have content be made in perpetuity of your brand?
Oh, at this stage, I don't think anyone would watch. But if I had a legacy, yeah, if I had, things that I was thought that would benefit humanity, for sure. I think back, taking it away from me for a moment, but taking it to somebody who was actually influential. If I could continue to learn from that person or watch content from them, from famous people throughout generations that were influential, I'd want to consume that for sure. What about you? Would you want Atlas Theory 3000 out there in the universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably once I get to a certain level, like you're saying, I think that's a good like criteria. You kind of sparked this idea of a future business. Feel free to take it because I won't get it done. But whoever's listening. But going off of famous people from history or like wise people, you could have whole metaverse AI mentors that you like select, 5,
Yeah.
and they would tell you advice in certain life situations that you're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of them
crazy
would have to
stuff.
be Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. And then if it's not Morgan Freeman, all of them have the voice of Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
like it. I
awesome.
like it.
Well, dude, I want to hear what the listeners have to say. We've been getting quite a few comments in previous episodes, which we love. Where can people find us?
Dude, yeah. All over, especially Twitter is I think where we're the most active, at Metaverse Pod over there, or also the metaversepodcast.com. Is it the in front of it? Or just
Metaverse
Metaverse Pod?
Podcast, just
Yeah.
metaversepodcast.com.
I
Yeah.
thought it was that, but then I said the, and I was like, I don't want you guys to get confused. I was like,
Yeah.
metaversepodcast.com. Check
Yeah.
it out. Follow along. If you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Many people listen and are returning listeners, but haven't hit the subscribe button. So if that's you, please hit it for us. Show some support. And again, leave that comment down below about what you think about AI influencers.
Cool. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. And until then, stay versed.
Stay versed. Live long and prosper.